Hey folks, rinimt here, and welcome to a Bad End Theater. Hope you like bad endings, because we're about to get a lot of them. Thank you, Serenity Forge, for the code. So, content warning. Choose to enter Bad End Theater, you will witness many scenes involving violence, murder, and death. Despite this dark subject matter, the overall tone of my story is meant to be lighthearted. Not too graphic and never lingering too long in any particular misery. With that said, please exit the theater if you ever feel overwhelmed by despair. My intention is not to harm, but to entertain. I hope you'll enjoy the show. So, let's enter. Welcome to Bad End Theater. I need to turn up BGM a little bit, maybe. I can... Maybe. There it is. I think it was fine where it's at. Welcome to Bad End Theater. On this stage, we shall be toying with fate. You will make many choices, unlocking darker and darker paths, all in order to witness a lovely variety of tragic events. But first, allow me to explain how it works. To begin the tutorial, select whichever doll you like. You are the human or the demon. I'll be the demon. You control the demon doll. You're a fierce-looking guy, just minding your own business. How will you interact with the human doll? Play nice. You try to make friends with the human doll, but it kills you in cold blood. How ruthless. You found your very first bad ending, but don't worry, the story need not end here. Let's reset the stage and try again. This time, try controlling the other doll. Human doll. You control the human doll. You're a friendly little guy, just minding your own business. How you interact with the demon doll? Play nice. You and the demon doll are able to set aside your differences and become friends. Why, this isn't a bad ending at all. I should have written out this possibility. It's just not suited to my theater whatsoever. Now you know how the story goes. You can set the doll's behavior in advance. As you just saw, these behaviors will automatically be set to what you chose during your last playthrough. But now you can turn each one on or off without having to replay from that doll's perspective. Yes, my theater actually doubles as a puzzle game. Now, try turning the doll's behaviors on and off to see the different outcomes. You are... Oh, you interact wicked. You kill the human doll in cold blood. How ruthless. End tutorial. Reset the stage. Human doll. Hostile. You both attack each other at once and die together. Alright. I'm done. Do you understand how to play? Yeah, I get it. This game saves your progress automatically, so just relax and collect all the bad endings at your own pace. Now, without further ado, let's start the show. Okay. You are the hero, a maiden, underling, the overlord. Will be a maiden. You're a maiden. You live in a peaceful village next to a spooky demon overlord's castle. You are told that you are fated to be captured by the overlord one day because you are a beautiful young girl. Demon overlords apparently love capturing those. You think of how you haven't heard of that actually happening to anyone, but maybe the demons just haven't been given the opportunity. Who knows? You are in church. You pray to your god, asking why you have been born into this role of a maiden. You respect the divine plan and all, but you're really just curious as to what the point of it is. You're impatient. Meeting a demon actually sounds pretty gosh darn exciting. Maybe you'd understand your role better if you were just hurry up and get captured already. You leave a note and venture forth to find the demon, just to, you know, see what happens. Now log into your little adventure, a demon underling appears before you. Looks pretty scary. Introduce yourself. You tell the demon your name and explain that you're a maiden from the village. The demon suddenly jumps you and starts biting. A lot. How painful. This plan of yours was completely stupid. You think, why couldn't you have been more patient? Why did you go looking for trouble? You aren't angry or anything, of course. This was all your fault for trusting a demon not to devour you on sight. This is your punishment for questioning fate, you guess. Bit by bit, you are swallowed by the demon until you are no more. maiden and reset the stage. What if I go as the underling now? You are a demon underling in service of the overlord. You aren't particularly strong, but not particularly weak either. That's what your friends tell you. Your job is to guard the castle and keep humans away. It's unbearably boring. Humans rarely come all the way here to challenge the overlord anyway. It's a lot of standing in one place, staring into nothing. You feel like you're gonna go crazy if you don't get a break. You decide to ask the overlord for a day off. She gives you an earful about responsibility and unquestioning obedience. You wait for her to finish her lecture before returning to your post. What does she know about anything? Who made her the boss of everyone? You complain about the overlord to your friends. They agree that she is kind of a snob and totally deserves to be kicked off her throne. You only wanted to vent your frustrations, but the conversation somehow turned into an assassination plot? You should probably steer this in a responsible direction. Let's not. You tell your friends you were totally not serious about the whole thing. You're actually cool with the status quo? After all, life must be pretty dang good if the only thing you have to complain about is that you live so comfortably there's nothing to do. The others not, but don't seem convinced. As you say, a coup d'etat would be more effort than it's worth. But if you're still gonna be a rebel and sneak out of the castle, your friends praise your mischievous ways. Change of atmosphere excites you. You spend some time rolling around in the grass, wild and free. As you make your way along the path to a nearby human village, you encounter a maiden. She greets you and says she has a favor to ask. You consider your options. Let's hear her out. You're in a good mood today and are rather curious about what the maiden has to say. Humans don't usually talk to you, so this is kind of exciting. You hadn't guessed it would even be possible to understand each other before now. The maiden is going on and on about some kind of destiny she's trying to fulfill. Bottom line from what you gather is that she wants you to take her to the overlord. Sounds like it could be interesting, besides you have nothing better to do. Satisfied with your day out, you take the maiden back to the castle and present her to the overlord. The overlord asks where you found this maiden, knowing full well that you left the castle when you weren't supposed to. You apologize for disobeying her, but hope that the maiden is interested in the present that you may be forgiven. The overlord nods and says everything's cool as long as you always listen to her from now on. You're impressed with what an easygoing boss she is. You mentioned how you can't believe you and your friends ever considered overthrowing her. She gives you a look and you say, that was just a joke, of course. She smiles and dismisses you. You decide it's about time for a nap. After a few hours of sleep, you're rudely awakened by the sounds of battle. You emerge from your room to find that a hero has slaughtered many of your friends and work associates. What a jerk! Save yourself! You look around at the lifeless forms of those you've known as far back as you can remember. You feel glad to not be in their shoes. You also feel guilty thinking that as you flee the castle until you remember your role not as an underling, but as a demon. This kind of thing is expected of you. Maybe you'll start a new life far away from any humans or demons. Where you'll live peacefully, alone, in some deep dark forest somewhere. Deserter, underling, and... Alright. Okay, so I unlocked more, like, little options there. So what if I go back to Maiden now? I skip? Introduce yourself. You tell the demon your name and explain that you're a maiden from the village. You tell them that you were thinking maybe you could understand your role better if you were to hurry up and get taken away by a demon already. The demon doesn't seem to have really been listening to you, which is a little irritating. They agree to take you to their master nonetheless. After a long walk to the castle, you're introduced to the overlord. She lectures the underling that brought you here, who was apparently told not to leave their post. You wonder what cruel punishment awaits them. To your surprise, she lets them off easy. The underling is dismissed, and the overlord turns to you, looking very interested. You explain why you've come, and she squints at you. Turns out she never had any plans to capture maidens or do anything else that would agitate the humans. You wonder for a moment if she might be lying, but doesn't really seem like it. Still, this doesn't make any sense to you. You've always been told that demons would one day seek you out, and something awful would happen, then a hero would come to your rescue. You don't want to believe you've been lied to all along. Maybe it's just that you haven't been maiden-like enough. You ask the overlord what you should do to be a more suitable maiden, but she doesn't seem to understand. Just go home and stop worrying about destiny so much. Which makes it sound so simple. This overlord seems like the complete opposite of you. You want to learn more about her and how she thinks. You insist on staying to talk with her more. The overlord tells you again that you should get lost. How rude! You just got here! Refuse to leave. You put your foot down and tell her that you're not going anywhere. You still want to fulfill your destiny, even if you have to make it happen on your own. She's a little frustrated at your stubbornness, but doesn't kick you out or anything. Hooray! The overlord shares many stories about demons with you. Little by little, you realize they might not be the ruthless monsters you were raised to believe. Also turns out, she commanded her demons to avoid towns and villages. She didn't want to risk giving the humans any excuse to send a hero out after them. You realize that must be why you've never heard of any demons attacking your town. You express your gratitude to the overlord on behalf of your village. She says you can thank her by telling the humans to stop raising heroes. She's tired of her servants getting killed off by them. You've always thought that demons were violent and unreasonable creatures, but it seems that the overlord could say the same of humans. You may be different, but really, they're just trying to live their lives the same as you. You feel like you're starting to understand things a lot better. But maybe everything I've said was to deceive you and the other humans. What would you do if I turned out to be super evil all along? Even if she were to capture you now, you'd think this place is far more interesting than the way things are back home. You kind of like not being told to expect demons to come after you all the time. You feel free. Honestly, you've always kept to yourself, but spending time with this overlord has been very nice. You feel butterflies in your stomach. Then a hero barges into the room. His clothes are stained by a dark liquid. It's dripping from his weapon too. You realize it must be demon blood. Something horrible has happened. Confused, the hero asks you what's going on. You explain the situation, reassuring him that you are never in any danger. The overlord has walked past the hero and out into the hall. She's wailing. You can only guess what kind of horrible scene he's left for her. The overlord tears the hero apart in retaliation, more silently, unable to scream. The overlord, who you had just been getting along with so well, has killed another human right in front of you. It's clear now that you have been deceived by her sweet words. Demons are ruthless monsters after all. You somehow managed to slip past the overlord and make it out of the blood-soaked castle. You never look back. Escape Maiden and A. Okay. So she's still on the light, but let's. Okay. So you can see how many each person has. Interesting. Let's go to the hero! You are the hero. You like to think of yourself as a pretty reliable and swell guy. Your life has been rather ordinary, aside from the occasional heroic adventures, fighting evil monsters, and whatnot. You are told a maiden from your village has been kidnapped and is likely being held captive at the nearby demon overlord's castle. You even put the village right next to where an entire demon army hangs out. You don't get it. You're happy to protect the townspeople, though. You were born to play this role. You head off on your adventure to rescue the maiden. But demon soldiers block your path. You could kill them to gain experience. Let's flee like a coward. Forgetting your pride, you escape with your life. But you can't return home now. Your reputation will be ruined. Wonder how you'll ever be able to rescue that maiden all on your own if you can't even fight some lousy demon underlings. You'll take your chances at the castle. You're a hero after all. This is your job. After a long trek, you make it to the castle's front gates. You are faced with an army of demons that look very intimidating. There's no way to sneak past these monsters if you want to reach the overlord. Oh gosh. We'll be diplomatic. Ask if they'll let me in. You go up to the nearest demon and explain why you've come here. They stare you down. You feel very uncomfortable. But they seem to trust you and escort you directly to the overlord's chambers. That was easy. The overlord and maiden seem to be in the middle of some casual conversation when you barge in. You all look at each other in surprise and confusion. This is no time to hesitate. Ask the maiden what's going on. The maiden explains that she was never actually captured and that she came here on her own volition. That was a pretty dangerous thing for her to do, but no one got hurt, so at least there's that. You ask her to return to town with you to reassure everyone of her safety. The overlord allows the two of you to leave, and you casually exit the castle. You try to make conversation with the maiden, but she's pretty quiet since leaving the overlord's room. Is she shy? She suddenly stops in her tracks, and you turn your head to ask what the deal is. Oh, the overlord's castle is engulfed in flames. You can't help but feel relieved you got the maiden out of there when you did, but... She suddenly takes off towards the burning castle. Panic sets in, and you fall to try to stop her. Smoke is thick. You've already lost sight of her. What's she thinking? It's too dangerous to continue. You feel hopeless. You stand alone at the castle gates. Your body won't allow you to take another step forward. No, going in there would be suicide. You returned to the villagers. Until then, there was nothing you could do. You were too late. The maiden was claimed by the demons. Bystander, hero, and B. Alright. Oh, and I can just, like, turn these off. Anyways, let's activate the overlord. You are the overlord. You live in a castle surrounded by your demon servants. It's a pretty cushy life, you think. Except for those pesky humans who keep killing members of your army. There's an evil role called Hero, whose whole purpose in life is just to dethrone you. What's your deal anyway? You've actively avoided pissing off the humans in hopes they'll leave you and your army alone. But they never do! You're still new to the whole overlord thing, if you're being quite honest with yourself. You don't really understand the politics of it. But you remind yourself everyone is just doing their best to fulfill their roles. You won't let them bait you into being the evil overlord they expect. You think you're pretty cool and mature to hold yourself to the higher standard like that. One of your underlings walks into your room, totally interrupting your thoughts about how awesome you are. They're saying something about how boring it is to stand in one place guarding the castle all the time, especially since no one ever comes here anyway. You see their point, but the way they're whining about it kind of bothers you. What to do with this underling? Grant them the day off. You tell them to go take a break from the stifling castle atmosphere and refresh their dark soul. A day off should be fine every once in a while. They thank you and happily scurry off to do who knows what. You have nothing better to do today, so you decide to nap for a little while. Being the overlord sure is great. You wake to a knock on your door. The underling from earlier brought back some company. It's a maiden from the nearby human village. She says her role is to be captured by you. The maiden then goes on to say that she's been getting very impatient thinking about her impending capture, so she's come here to speed things along. You appreciate her honesty, but regret to inform her you never had any plans to capture any humans. She seems very disappointed by this. Perhaps I'm not performing my role well enough. How do I can I become more maiden-like? You don't really understand the question? You think this world puts way too much focus on destiny and junk? Just go home and stop worrying about it, you tell her. The maiden seems to be having a hard time wrapping her head around this. She insists that she stay and talk to you more. You feel warm inside as she looks into your eyes. This is the first time a human looks at you without contempt. I wonder what to say. Let her stay for a while. You can't bring yourself to send this maiden away. She just got here. Enjoy a nice long chat with her, sharing stories about your kind. She expresses her surprise that demons are not at all what she expected them to be. You're glad that she seems to have an open mind about these kind of things. You also bring up how you always instruct your army to avoid humans, as not to agitate them and get heroes sent out after you. It explains why the people in my village have been left unharmed. Because of your orders, isn't it? We are very grateful. I'm surprised to hear her thank you. You've always thought of humans to be violent and unreasonable. That's why your servants are always getting killed, despite your efforts to leave them alone. But this meeting is different. You joke that maybe you've been lying to her this whole time and that you are actually super evil all along. The maiden laughs at that, saying she wouldn't mind being held captive here. The people in her village are a little exhausting at times, she says. You can't tell if she's into you or not. You're interrupted by another human in your doorway. This time it's a hero. He was apparently searching for the maiden who was rumored to have been captured by your kind. Captured? Not at all. I only wanted to meet with the overlord. Didn't anyone read the note I left behind? After everything is explained, the hero expresses his relief that the whole misunderstanding hadn't led to any horrible consequences. The maiden apologizes for causing trouble, and the hero asks her to return to the village with him. Confusing feelings well up inside your heart. You're surprised he had one of those to begin with. You don't want the hero to take this maiden away from you. Let them go. You're certain that she'll return to spend more time with you. You just have to trust in that, you decide. The hero and maiden gone, you plop down into the comfort of your luxurious overlord bed. Your room feels so empty now. Is this loneliness? You hope your new friend will be back soon. You close your eyes for a while. Until your door slams shut! Because you know it. Before you know it, everything around you is being engulfed by flames. What's going on? You try to escape, but something's blocking the door. You're having trouble forcing it open. What is this? Someone didn't want you getting out. Are you being usurped? They have zero foresight. What castle will they rule from if this one burns? I want to believe that your underlings betrayed you, but this is no accident. Those ungrateful bastards! You choke on the thick black smoke from the fire. You can't believe you're being done in by a bunch of cowards. You'll see them in hell. Burned, overlord end. Alright. Let's go a little bit more. What if I make her be obedient? We go back to the maiden. Skip forward. Wait. In Hero enters room, you're surprised to see him at first until you realize he must have been sent to retrieve you. Confused, the hero asks you what's going on. Explain the situation, reassuring him that you are never in any danger. The hero expresses relief that this whole misunderstanding hadn't led to any horrible consequences. He apologizes for causing trouble, but really, did anyone read the note you left? Jeez. The hero asks if you'll return to the village with him to give everyone the news of your safety. The overlord allows the two of you to leave, and you give her a little wave as you exit the room. He'll be back soon. You're about halfway back to the village when you feel something is off. And unable to shake your concern, you look back over your shoulder. You stop in your tracks. The castle's engulfed in flames. Is the overlord alright? You can't return to the village like this. You have to know. You have to be sure everyone is safe. You've already taken off before the hero can even think of stopping you. You scan the fleeing demons, but the overlord isn't among them. It's your better judgment. You rush into the burning castle to find her. You quickly reach the overlord's room, but the door is shut tight. The handle is too hot to touch. You're too weak to force it open. You bound your fist against the door helplessly. What were you thinking? This is all because you've forgotten your role. Only a hero could pull this kind of thing off. You start to cough. The smoke is too thick. You can hardly breathe. You realize you haven't got much time left now. You desperately head towards the stairs to save yourself. The fire spread faster than you expected. You won't make it outside. You can't help but laugh. What a joke! A maiden, saving the overlord. If you had just stayed true to your role, things wouldn't have ended like this. This is exactly the kind of punishment you deserve. You let the demon fire cleanse your rotten soul. Selfless maiden and B. Alright. So... a tyrant. And have him... tyrant, also disloyal. Let's try that with the maiden again. Introduce. Near Castle's entrance, you spy a group of suspicious demons congregating. They're talking about assassinating the overlord. You have to warn her. The hero shakes his head. He says that if this is the true nature of demons, the world is better off with less of them. This isn't right, you think. What kind of hero passes up the chance to save a life? The demons have taken notice of you. It's now or never. Take off into the castle, and an unreliable hero follows shortly after. You burst into the overlord's room, all your words spilling out at once. You should probably slow down, but there's no time! The overlord seems to have followed your frantic explanation, but clearly doesn't understand the urgency of the situation. The underling you recognized from before barges in, calling you a liar. You're surprised we're part of this evil plot. They seem so nice. The other demons come in right after them, saying the whole thing was the first underling's idea. Everyone's shouting at each other now. It's really stressing you out. You are relieved when the overlord demands silence. She threatens them with violence, and you think she is very overlord-like in this moment. The group of demons hiss to each other before shutting the door, leaving the little one behind. And watch as it pounds on the door in distress. Have they locked you all in? I have a bad feeling about this. And thinking that must have jinxed it because now the room is engulfed in flames. If only you had ignored those demons before, you and the hero wouldn't have stumbled into this situation. If you had just pretended not to hear them, if you left as you were told, why the overlord would have been killed. You couldn't have done that. That path isn't an option for you. You think that no matter what, you always strive for the path where everyone survives. It must exist. It simply must. The overlord seizes her underling. They beg for their life. Pray. You don't know what else to do, so you just pray. The overlord's claws pierce the underling's chest. They scream an awful scream. She digs and twists her claws in the poor thing while you continue to pray. There's no saving any of you now. You, the overlord, the hero, and the underling's corpse are consumed by flames. Devout maiden end. Whew. It's only 7 of the endings. Right, let's get back to this. I'm gonna do something silly and just turn on everything. All the options. And let's do underling. Is it not? Load? Can I load my previous stuff? Load. Okay, I'm like, what the heck? Because it also didn't look like my choices. Okay, let's try that again. It's not skipping. Your job is to guard the castle and keep humans away. It's unbearably boring. Heroes rarely come all the way here to challenge the overlord anyway. It's a lot standing in one place, staring at nothing. I feel like you're gonna go crazy if you don't get a break. You decide to ask the overlord for a day off. No. Gives you an earful about responsibility and unquestioning obedience. You wait for her to finish her lecture before returning to your post. What does she know about anything? Who made her the boss of everyone? You complain about the overlord to your friends. They agree that she is kind of a snob and totally deserves to be kicked off her throne. You only want to vent your frustrations, but the conversation somehow turned into an assassination plot. You should probably steer this in a responsible direction. Let's overthrow her. No, you're sick of this overlord holding you and your friends back. You agree that it's time for a change of management. Your friends suggest maybe you should be the new overlord. You sound like you like the sound of that. You announced your first act of rebellion is to take that day off like you wanted. Your friends aren't very impressed. You assure them you'll talk more about the assassination thing when you get back, which satisfies them. You sneak out of the castle to have some fun. A change of atmosphere excites you, and you spend some time rolling around the grass, wild and free. As you make your way along the path to the nearby human village, you encounter a maiden. She greets you and says she has a favor to ask. You consider your options. Gobble her up. Maidens aren't the best meal, but you figure you should live up to your demon name and strike back against the humans. You start devouring the maiden without so much as a second thought, and feel quite proud of that. Other humans would surely praise you with curses if they were around to see. Oh man, if only someone could have been watching. Time to find the audience for your evil deeds. You wander into a nearby village. The people are screaming and running away, throwing rocks at you and whatnot. You think that's pretty rude of them. You haven't even done anything yet! Put on the show. You attack the nearest human. He is old and weak and his bones crunch delightfully. Your audience screams grow louder. Applause! You think, hey, this is actually pretty fun. I should take revenge like this a lot sooner. As you continue your bloodthirsty dance, striking the villagers down, you fail to notice a sword-wielding hero running toward you. He takes you out in one swift blow. You're just a demon underling after all. As you die, you think, that was totally worth it. The curtain closes. Performer, underling, reset. I wonder if there was like a small update or something. Anyway, let's overthrow. Hear her out. You're in a good mood today and are rather curious about what the maiden has to say. Humans don't usually talk to you, so this is kind of exciting. You hadn't guessed it would even be Pop, actually. Sorry, options. I'm gonna gobble her again. Change your mind and leave. You figure if people are this upset at just the sight of you, they won't fully appreciate any terrible acts you'd commit. Also, they might fight back. That probably wouldn't end well. You're just one little underling after all. This little day out has been adequately refreshing. You return to the castle thinking you'll take a nap. After a few hours of sleep, you're rudely awakened by the sounds of battle. You emerge from your room to find that the hero has slaughtered many of your friends and work associates. What a jerk. Upend your fallen comrades. What does this guy think he is, coming in here and killing everyone like some maniac? What did we ever do to him? You lunge at him while he's busy driving his sword into the guard, who sometimes brought you food whenever they noticed you were feeling kinda down. You like that guard! You wish with all your demon heart for this hero to suffer for his deeds. You bite into him, tearing flesh from bone. It tastes like iron. The hero struggles. You feel a sword go through you, but there is no pain, only retribution. More of your comrades pile onto him as your consciousness fades. The hero is overtaken. Your army has won. You've earned your rest. Victorious underling. Save yourself. You look around at the lifeless forms of those you've known as far back as you can remember. You feel glad to not be in their shoes. You also feel guilty thinking that as you flee the castle, to remember your role, not as an underling, but as a demon. This kind of thing is expected of you. Maybe you'll start a new life far away from any humans or demons, or live peacefully alone in some deep, dark forest somewhere. Alright, that's just deserter again. Let's do maiden. Village, yada yada yada. We've already read all this. Shout for a hero to come save you. You yell, but the hero does not come. The demon suddenly jumps to you and starts biting a lot. How painful! This plan of yours is completely stupid. You think, why couldn't you have been more patient? Why did you go looking for trouble? You aren't angry or anything, of course. This was all your fault for trusting a demon not to devour you on sight. It's your punishment for questioning fate, you guess. Bit by bit, you are swallowed by the demon until you are no more. Consumed. I think because of sending your maid from the village, the demon suddenly jumps, starts biting. Okay. What's that? If I keep on hungry and I go hero, how does this go? Hey hero, you like to think of yourself as a pretty liable and swell guy. Your life has been rather ordinary aside from the occasional heroic adventures fighting evil monsters and whatnot. You're told a maiden from your village has been kidnapped and is likely being held captive at the nearby demon overlord's castle. He even puts a village right next to where an entire demon army hangs out. You don't get it. You're happy to protect the townspeople, though. You were born to play this role. Head off on your adventure to rescue the maiden. But demon soldiers block your path. You could kill them to gain experience. Bravely sorrow the evil creatures. Make quick work of the vile creatures who stood in your way. You feel much stronger now. After a long trek, you make it to the castle's front gates. You are faced with an army of demons that all look very intimidating. There's no way to sneak past these monsters if you want to reach the overlord. Cut through the demon army. You gather your courage. This is what must be done in order to rescue the maiden. These are all evil demons anyway. The world is much safer with them gone. That's what you tell yourself while you kill one after another on your way to the overlord's chambers. The overlord appears, demanding to know what the hell you're doing, murdering all her soldiers. You get straight to the point and ask for where the maiden is. She feigns ignorance, a convincing act, but you won't be fooled. The maiden isn't here, then what happened to her? You can see only one answer. The overlord definitely captured her. In fact, it's possible she's already been devoured. Thinking about that poor maiden's fate fills you with hatred. You fight the overlord with everything you've got. You become strong from the hordes of demons you took down before this final battle. The overlord is almost no match for you. You cut her to pieces. The overlord has fallen. You breathe a sigh of relief, but your job is not yet finished. You search the castle. Fortunately, you find no sign of the maiden within its walls. It's just as you suspected. She must have already been devoured. You feel hollow. A great evil has been banished from this world, but what does that matter if you were too weak to save someone? You stand alone amidst the carnage and ponder what it means to be a hero. You return to the overlord's remains and wrap her head in your cape to bring back to the village. Surely your great victory will be celebrated. Failed hero end. Alright. Let's be dutiful. Dutiful. Okay, yeah, so that's just that. Dutiful. Diplomatic? Didn't explain why you've come, but the monster before you is eyeing you with suspicion. They can help but notice the demon blood from earlier you haven't had the chance to wash off yet. Whoops. You have no choice but to fight the army in self-defense. Oh well, more experience points for you. Make your way through the castle, fending off all the demons that stand in your way. The overlord appears demanding to know what the hell you're doing, murdering all her soldiers? Get straight to the point and ask her where the maiden is. She feigns ignorance, a convincing act, but you won't be fooled. The maiden isn't here, then what happened to her? You can see only one answer. Overlord definitely captured her. In fact, it's possible she's already been devoured. Thinking about the poor maiden's fate fills you with hatred. You fight the overlord with everything you've got. You become strong from the hordes of demons you took down before the final battle. The overlord is almost no match for you. You cut her to pieces. The overlord has fallen. Okay, yeah, so let's just that again. If I flee... Forgetting your pride, you escape with your life. But you can't return home now. Your reputation will be ruined. I wonder how you'll ever be able to rescue the man all on your own if you can't even fight some lousy demon underlings. You'll take your chances at the castle. You're a hero after all. This is your job. After a long trek, you make it to the castle's front gates. You are faced with an army of demons that were intimidating. Ask it to let you in. You go up to the nearest demon and explain why you've come here. Unfortunately, they stare you down and you feel very uncomfortable. But they seem to trust you and escort you directly to the Overlord's chambers. That was easy. The Overlord is alone. You ask about the maiden, but the Overlord doesn't seem to know what you're talking about. Is she really never here? You wonder what could have happened to her. The Overlord says that she wishes she could help you, but you're the first human that's come here in forever, at least that she knows of. You think of how you probably shouldn't trust her, seeing as she's a demon and all, but you can't really prove she's lying either. You apologize for the intrusion and return home to your village. The maiden was never found. Useless hero! Alright. No. Character select. I did not mean to start. Just turn those all on and do Overlord. Overlord, you live in a castle surrounded by your demon servants. It's a pretty cushy life, you think. Except for those pesky humans who keep killing members of your army. There's even a role called Hero, whose whole purpose in life is just to dethrone you. What's the deal anyway? You've actively avoided pissing off the humans in hopes they'll leave you and your army alone. They never do. You're still new to the whole Overlord thing, if you're being quite honest with yourself. You don't really understand the politics of it. But you remind yourself everyone is just doing their best to fulfill their roles. Don't let them bait you into being the evil Overlord they expect. You think you're pretty cool and mature to hold yourself to the higher standards like that. One of your underlings walks into your room, totally interrupting your thoughts about how awesome you are. They're saying something about how boring it is to stand in one place guarding a castle all the time, especially since no one ever comes here anyway. You see their point, but the way they're whining about it kind of bothers you. What do I do with this underling? Tell them to get back to work. You give them a lecture about responsibility and unquestioning obedience. Your servants ought to do what they're told, whether they like it or not. They look really unhappy with you, but you're sure they'll thank you for this later. Venturing too far from the castle tends to spell death. You dismiss the underling and lie down in your nice and comfy Overlord bed. All that lecturing made you want to take a nap. Fell asleep pretty quick. Just another one of your amazing talents, says the Overlord. You awake to a huge commotion outside. The hero is showing up and started totally murdering your soldiers. What the hell, guy? You rush out into the battlefield to confront this jerkwad. You curse at him and very rudely inquire his reasons for doing all this. The hero yells at you, demanding you return the maiden you're holding captive. You don't know what he's talking about, but you can't forgive his actions. You do battle with the hero, but he's grown strong from cutting down your army. You're unable to defeat him. Decisive swings, he stabs and cuts you to pieces. You fall. You have failed your subjects. You spit curses weakly. You wish you had been stronger. Maybe you were never suited to be the overlord in the first place. The truth was, you were never that much more powerful than the demons who served you. It was the title, the control that gave you the strength. These are your thoughts as you are swallowed by darkness. Conquered overlord. Alright. No. Turn those all off, yeah. Antisocial possessive. Alright, let's go back to overlord. Get back to work. You're awakened by one of your underlings. They've brought you a hero who inquires about the missing maiden? You tell him you don't know anything. Humans never really visit this place. He believes you and goes home. To your surprise, you figured he might try to fight you, but you're glad to get back to your nap instead. Until you wake up to something completely unexpected. One of your underlings is tearing your throat out! You try to struggle, but you can tell you're already mortally wounded. What have you done to deserve this kind of ending? You curse at them, choking on your own blood. You die wondering if you could have done anything to prevent this. Assassinated overlord end. Alright. So that... Let's just try and do the full. Get back to work. Okay, reset. Turn off. Keep hungry on, but turn off disloyal? I'll get back to work. Before you know, everything around is being engulfed by flames. What's going on? Try to escape, but something's blocking the door. You're having trouble forcing it open. What is this? Someone didn't want you getting out. Are you being usurped? They have zero foresight. What castle will they rule if this one burns? You don't want to believe that your underlings have betrayed you, but this is no accident. Those ungrateful bastards! You choke on the thick black smoke from the fire. You can't believe you're being done in by a bunch of cowards. You'll see them in hell. So that's burned overlord again. Let's do... Not obedient. It also turn off hungry. Hungry is just leading to bad. Get back to work. You wake to a knock on your door. The underling from earlier brought back some company. You thought you told that underling to do their job, not drag strangers into your room. Looks like they took an unauthorized break away from the castle. You scold them, but ultimately you're a little interested in this guest, so you let them off easy. That underling's not so bad. It's a maiden from the nearby human village. She says her role is to be captured by you. The maiden then goes on to say that she's been getting very impatient thinking about her impending capture, so she's come here to speed things along. You appreciate her honesty, but regret to inform her you never had any plans to capture any humans. She seems very disappointed by this. Perhaps I'm not performing my role well enough. How can I become more maiden-like? You don't really understand the question. You think this world puts way too much focus on destiny and junk? Just go home and stop worrying about it, you tell her. Nan seems to be having a hard time wrapping her head around this. She insists that she stay and talk to you more. You feel warm inside as she looks into your eyes. This is the first time a human has looked at you without contempt. You wonder what to say. Let her stay. You can't bring yourself to send this maiden away. She just got here. You enjoy a nice long chat with her, sharing stories about your kind. She expresses her surprise that demons are not at all what she expected them to be. You're glad that she seems to have an open mind about these kinds of things. You also bring up how you always instruct your army to avoid humans as not to agitate them and get heroes sent out after you. That explains why the people in my village have been left unharmed. It's because of your orders, isn't it? We're very grateful. I'm surprised to hear her thank you. You've always thought that humans to be violent and unreasonable. That's why your servants are always getting killed, despite your efforts to leave them alone. But this maiden is different. You joke that maybe you have been lying to her this whole time, and that you are actually super evil all along. The maiden laughs at that, saying she wouldn't mind being held captive here. The people in her village are a little exhausting at times, she says. You can't tell if she's into you or not. You're interrupted by another human in your doorway. This time it's a hero. Is there anyone searching for the maiden who was rumored to have been captured by your kind? Captured? Not at all. Only wanted to meet with the overlord. Didn't anyone read the note I left behind? After everything is explained, the hero expresses his relief that this whole misunderstanding hasn't led to any horrible consequences. The maiden apologized for causing trouble, and the hero asked her to return to the village with him. Confusing feelings well up inside your heart. You're surprised that you have one of those to begin with? You don't want the hero to take this maiden away from you. Keep her here. Maiden came here to be captured by you, didn't she? You'll grant her wish. You tell the hero you won't let him take her home. Maiden assures you she'll be back, but you don't budge. The hero is cautious now. If you won't let her go, maybe demons are evil after all, and if you are, be forced to vanquish you. You have no choice. You destroy the hero before he can steal your maiden away. She's frightened. You don't understand why. Didn't she say she prefers this place to her village? Now she doesn't have to leave. Take a step toward the maiden. She backs herself into a corner. You don't understand. She wanted to stay here with you. The hero was trying to get in the way of that. You had to kill him. You'll be sure to keep this maiden very safe from now on. Selfish overlord. Alright. Let's run that again, I think. Go back to work. Let her stay. Let them go. Soon she'll return to spend more time with you. You just have to trust in that, you decide. The hero and maiden gone, you plop down in the comfort of your luxurious overlord bed. The room feels so empty now. Is this loneliness? You hope your new friend will be back soon. You close your eyes for a while. Until your door slams shut! Before you know it, everything around is being engulfed by flames. What's going on? You try to escape, but something's blocking the door. You have trouble forcing it open. What is this? Someone didn't want you getting out. Being disturbed. Comes to your foresight. Grateful bastards. Chucking back the smoke. See them in hell. It's burned again. What if I feel like there should be more for these two, you know? I feel like I'm missing stuff. It's 6 or 8. Much for hero. Did this loyal. Let's go hero. Lee. Diplomatic. Or the maidens seem to be in the middle of some casual conversation when you barge in. You all look at each other in surprising confusion. There's no time to hesitate. Destroy the overlord. You lunge forward, driving your blade through the evil overlord. She screams, then falls silent. The overlord has been slain. You smile, offering the maiden your hand. She takes it after slight hesitation. She must be surprised at how strong you are. You escort the maiden home. She's oddly quiet on the trek back to the village. She must be too shy to speak. Villagers are very pleased with what a good job you've done, slaying the overlord and saving a hostage. They throw a huge celebration in your name. You're remembered for generations as the greatest hero the village has ever seen. Triumphant hero. Flee. Asked to let you in. Asked the man what's going on. Maiden explained she was never actually captured. She came of her own volition. To return with you, to reassure everyone safety. Overlord allows you to leave, and you casually exit the castle. You pause and you see a group of suspicious demons. They're talking about their assassinating their overlord. You don't understand what the maiden is thinking. Or suspicion that'll be destroyed. Demon barges in, calling you liars. Told by the group from the entrance, one who shifts the blame back onto the little one. Demons only care about themselves. How low can they be? Shouting. And shouting at them, the whole room dissolves in noise, and the overlord yells for everyone to shut their traps. She threatens them with violence. The overlord is no better than her subjects. You grip your sword tightly. If you have to cut through everyone here to get this maiden to safety, you certainly will. The group of demons hiss to each other before shutting the door, leaving the runt of the litter behind. You glance around for another exit, but there isn't one. You have a terrible feeling about this. Instead, the whole room is in flames. What kind of demonic magic is this? Underling pounds on the door, upset that it's been betrayed. You join it, vowing to slay the cowardly demons on the other side. Next moment, the overlord has taken hold of the underling, is crying for mercy. She throws her claws in the underling's chest and lets out a horrible scream. Back away, you won't be the next target of her rage. She continues to dig and twist her claws to its limp body. You can no longer watch. You look to the maiden. She's crying, hands clasped together in prayer. To have faith in a time like this, you envy her. Two of you, the overlord and the underling's corpse, are all consumed by flames. Resigned hero end. Reset. Okay, so this setup gets me there. Let's go with the underling. Not disloyal. You tell your friend. Oh wait, your friends, you're totally not serious about this whole thing. You're actually cool with the status quo. For all, life must be pretty dang good if the only thing you have to complain about is that you live so comfortably there's nothing to do. The others nod, but don't seem convinced. You say a coup d'etat with more effort than it's worth. Still gonna be a rebel and sneak out of the castle. Your friends praise your mischievous ways. Change of atmosphere excites you. Hear her out. Humans don't usually talk to you, so this is kind of exciting. You hadn't guessed it would even be possible to understand each other before now. Maiden's going on and on about some kind of destiny she's trying to fulfill. Bottom line, from what you gather, is that she wants you to take her to the overlord. Sounds like it could be interesting. Besides, you have nothing better to do. Satisfied with your day out, you take the maiden back to the castle and present her to the overlord. Ask where you found this maiden, knowing full well that you left the castle when you weren't supposed to. You apologize for disobeying her, hope that the maiden is an interesting enough present that you may be forgiven. The overlord nods and says everything's cool as long as you always listen to her from now on. You're impressed with what an easygoing boss she is. You mention how we can't believe you and your friends ever considered overthrowing her. She gives you a look and you say, that was a joke, of course. She smiles and dismisses you. You decide it's about time for a nap. You don't get to sleep long. Your friends wake you up. Rude. One of them is stepping on you pretty hard. You ask them what their deal is. They say they're planning a whole revolution. They're gonna get rid of the current overlord and put a new ruler in place. They want to hear if you're in or not, and being a pretty lazy underling, you of course reply with, sounds like a lot of trouble. How about we just skip it instead? Friends question your loyalty to their cause. Actually, she's not so bad, you guys. Your friends seem pretty disappointed. They apologize to you, but before you can ask what they're sorry about, one of them suddenly seizes you. Someone who's still loyal to the overlord really has no place in our castle. You understand, right? Their claws tighten around your neck. You don't bother struggle. You're outnumbered. You already know how things like this end. It's a pretty messed up thing to do to a friend, you tell them. They slit your throat in response. Faithful underling. Alright. Okay, let's kill the overlord. You tell them you were just joking, clarify that you're totally in it to win it. They say you are always terrible with jokes. Whether or not you actually feel like killing the overlord, you know how bad it'd be to end up on the wrong side of things. If this assassination deal doesn't pan out, you can always pretend you were innocent all along. But beneath your shield of faux confidence, you worry about what you're getting yourself dragged into. You follow your friends outside the castle to talk more about the plan. You're curious if they have any idea how they want to go about this. They figured they'd just lock her in a room and set it on fire. A stupid plan. That could go wrong in so many ways. You realize your friends are just a bunch of directionless thugs, useless without someone's guidance. Your guidance? There'd probably be casualties if you fought her head on, and while showy deaths make a revolution a heck of a lot more fun, it's probably the wrong way to go. Your friends agree and suggest that you play the assassin. You really didn't want it to come down to this. You can't back down now. You'll have to be the one to assassinate the overlord. Besides, no one has any better ideas. You and your friends turn to notice a pair of humans have overheard your entire conversation. They take off into the castle. Are they heading to the overlord's room? Ah! The overlord will kill you for sure if she found out you were conspiring to take her out. You dash into the castle after the humans. Sure enough, the maiden's already frantically telling the overlord everything. You shout that the humans are liars! The friends soon arrive to back you up, except they don't. Instead, they blame the whole thing on you. They cried it was all your idea and that they were just going with the flow, too scared to refuse your crazy plan. Can't believe they tell the overlord such a blatant lie. You always knew better than to trust them. You're the one who didn't have a choice here. You all shout at each other until the overlord demands silence. Regardless of who led this conspiracy, I have no choice but to punish everyone to keep you all in your place, crushed beneath my heel. She sounds tough, but lately all she does is sleep. You doubt her strength. You hear her traitorous friends mutter something about going back to plan A, and suddenly the door slams shut. You're trapped in here with the overlord and the 2 humans. And the room bursts into flames. You pound on the door, screaming curses at those who betrayed you. Hero joins you, vowing to slay the lot of them. You wish he'd get the chance. The overlord grabs you by the throat. You cry for mercy. You were forced into this mess. You're sure now that they would have killed you if you sided with her. The overlord doesn't hear your pleas. She drives her claws into your chest. At least she made it quick. Traitor underling. Okay. There was... Let's overthrow her. You're out. It's not so bad, you guys. Okay, that's that. Okay, let's kill the overlord. Okay, that just goes back into that. If I heroic it. Let's not hear her out. Kill. No. Let's turn off polite. Let's not. She seems frightened and screams for a hero to come save her. Consider your options. Tell her to quit yelling. When the maiden realizes you're not gonna hurt her, she regains her composure. Now she started talking to you like your friends or something. You don't understand humans at all. You speak the same language, of course, which has always confused you, because why is there conveniently only one language in the world? If demons and humans have independent societies, wouldn't it make sense for them to each have their own language? Maiden is going on and on. Okay, that doesn't adjust enough. Turn off Tyrant. She's surprisingly cool with it? Nice! You set off on your adventure outside the castle. Tell her to quit yelling. They seem to be getting along just fine, so you decide that it's about time for a nap. And let's kill... Full plate. I don't know if I'm gonna get much else out of this one. Oh, right, yeah, if he goes crazy, it's just that. So if I have Dutiful on, he just goes all crazy. What's wrong with Diplomatic? You're out. You sneak into the Overlord's room. She's taking a nap, like usual. This is almost too easy. You silently approach your master. She looks so peaceful. Chicken out. You don't want to kill her. You can't go through with it. You turn to leave the room. You find your friends blocking the exit. In a panicked whisper, you ask them to let you out? This seems to have been their way of testing your loyalty. You tell them this is pretty screwed up and ask again to be let out. The Overlord stares in the bed while your head is turned. The demons shut the door. You scramble into the Overlord's closet to hide before she wakes up and sees you. There's nothing you could possibly say to explain this and survive. You're trembling. You can't believe those jerks would bully you like this. You feel like crying. Light flickers at your feet. It doesn't take you long to realize they've set the room on fire. You hear the Overlord trying to get the door open to no avail. You're both trapped. Too afraid to move, you resign yourself to your fate. You and the Overlord burn together. Cowardly. Okay. Time to die. You figure the cleanest way to do this would be to dig your claws into her throat, so you do just that. She wakes, but not in time to stop you. You watch as she chokes on her blood, cursing you before finally expiring. That felt terrible. You remind yourself it was either her or you, and you weren't about to let yourself get killed by anyone. You leave the room to finish friends waiting just outside. They look pleased. Only now do you realize they must have planned to use you like this from the beginning. You are now the new ruler of this castle. Your subjects bow before you. They live in fear that they will one day betray you as you have betrayed your overlord. Lord, Underling, and B. Alright. Oh hey, I did get another option here. And turn that on. So I need to dig through options with maiden. Introduce. I tell them they were thinking maybe you could understand your role better if you were hurry up and get taken away by a demon already. The demon doesn't seem to have really been listening to you, which is a little irritating. They agree to take you to master nonetheless. After a long walk to the castle, you're introduced to the overlord. Explain why you've come, and she squints at you. Turns out she never had any plans to capture maidens or to do anything else that would agitate the humans. She wondered for a moment if she might be lying, but it doesn't really seem like it. Still, it doesn't make any sense to you. You've always been told that demons would one day seek you out and something awful would happen. And the hero would come to your rescue. You don't want to believe you've been lied to all along. Maybe it's just that you haven't been maiden-like enough? You ask the overlord what you should do to be a more suitable maiden, but she doesn't seem to understand. Just go home and stop worrying about Destiny so much. She makes it sound so simple. The overlord seems like the complete opposite of you. You want to learn more about her and how she thinks. You insist on staying to talk with her more. The overlord shares many stories about demons with you, and little by little, you realize they might not be as ruthless monsters you were raised to believe. So it turns out she commanded her demons to avoid towns and villages. She didn't want to risk giving the humans any excuse to send a hero out after them. You realize that must be why you've never heard of any demons attacking your town. You expressed your gratitude to Oro on behalf of your village. Says you can thank her by telling the humans to stop raising heroes. She's tired of her servants getting killed off by them. You always thought demons were violent and reasonable creatures, but it seems the overlord could say the same about humans. You might be different, but they're just trying to live their lives the same as you. You feel like you're starting to understand things a lot better. Maybe everything I've said was to deceive you and the other humans. What would you do if I turned out to be super evil all along? Even if she were to capture you now, you think this place is far more interesting than the way things are back home. You kind of like not being told to expect demons to come after you all the time. You feel free. Honestly, you've always kept to yourself, but spending time with the overlord has been very nice. You feel butterflies in your stomach. As you think that, the hero enters in the room. You're surprised to see him at first, but you realize he must have been sent to retrieve you. Confused, the hero asks what's going on. You explain the situation, reassuring him that you were never in any danger. The hero expresses his relief that this whole misunderstanding hadn't led to any horrible consequences. You apologize for causing trouble, but really, did anyone read the note you left? Jeez. Hero asks if you'll return to the village with him to give everyone the news of your safety. Overlord allows the two of you to leave, and you give her a little wave as you exit the room. You'll be back soon! Near the castle's entrance, you spy a group of suspicious demons congregating. They're talking about assassinating the overlord. You have to warn her. The hero shakes his head. He says if this is the true nature of demons, the world is better off with less of them. This isn't right, you think. What kind of hero passes up the chance to save a life? Demons have taken notice of you. It's now or never. You take off into the castle, and the unreliable hero follows shortly after. Have we not done this? You burst into the overlord's room, all your words spilling out at once. You should probably slow down, but there's no time. The overlord seems to have followed your frantic explanation, but clearly doesn't understand the urgency of the situation. The underling you recognize from before barges in, calling you a liar. You're surprised they were a part of this evil plot. They seem so nice. The other demons come in right after them, saying the whole thing was the first underling's idea. Everyone's shouting at each other now. It's really stressing you out. You relieve when the overlord demands silence. She threatens them with violence, and you think she is very overlord-like in this moment. A group of demons hiss to each other before shutting the door, leaving the little one behind. He watches it pounds on the door in distress. Have they locked you all in? You have a bad feeling about this. And thinking out must have jinxed it, because now the room is engulfed in flame. If only you had ignored those demons before, you and the hero would have stumbled into this situation. You would just pretend not to hear them. If you left as you were told, only the overlord would have been killed. You couldn't have done that. That path isn't an option for you. You think that no matter what, you'll always strive for the path where everyone survives. It must exist, simply must. Overlord seizes her underling. They beg for their life. Pray, you don't know what to do, so you just pray. Overlord's claws pierce the underling's chest. They scream an awful scream, which is and twists into the poor thing while you continue to pray, but there's no saving any of you now. You, the overlord, the hero, the unwilling corpse are consumed by flame. Devout maiden. If I turn off disloyal. Polite. You're about halfway back to the village when you feel something is off. You try to shake your... You look over your shoulder, stop in your tracks, and the castle's engulfed in flames, or right. Can't return to the village like this, you have to make sure everyone's safe. Or taken off before the hero can even stop thinking. You scan the fleeing demons, but the overlord isn't among them. You rush in the castle. That's not to touch. Pound your fist against the door helplessly. What are you thinking? How much time? Let's see. This far. That's no joke. Smash. Okay, selfless maiden. I'm at a loss of what I'm supposed to do from here. Let's try this. Let's go. Hero. Flee. Diplomatic. Destroy. Reset. Shout for a hero. Demons put off at your sudden shouting and ask you to keep it down. You apologize. They seem more confused and hostile, which totally catches you off guard. You tell the demon your name and explain that you're a maiden from the village. You tell them that you were thinking maybe you could understand your role better if you were to hurry up and get taken away by the demon already. Demon doesn't seem to have really been listening to you, which is a little irritating. You're gonna take it to the master nonetheless. After a long walk to the castle, you're introduced to the overlord. Explain why you've come. Hero enters the room. Hero suddenly dashes towards the overlord, sword drawn. Be a martyr. Protect her. You selflessly throw yourself in front of the hero's blade, acting as a shield. It's funny. You think you never could have imagined this would be the way that you die. The roles are all switched around, but it feels right to you somehow. You are glad your destiny turned out to be saving someone rather than being saved yourself. As your vision fades, you hope that everything turns out alright for your new friend. Sacrificial maiden. So what if I do nothing? Hero's blade pierces the overlord and she lets out a horrible scream. You flinch. Overlord is slain. Hero smiles and holds out his hand to you, saying it's time to go home. His glove is drenched in blood. Hesitantly, you take his hand. Hero guides you through the castle past the corpses of his enemies. You try to keep your eyes on your feet. There's blood everywhere. You shut your eyes, but even then, you can't escape the smell. All this was because of you, wasn't it? You exit the castle and the hero leads you back to the village. Everyone celebrates the hero's great triumph over the demons. You feel sick, but you take part in the festivities regardless. Complacent. Alright, we did get Martyr unlocked. So let's go back to Overlord. Grant them the day off. You tell them to go take a break from the stifling castle atmosphere and refresh their dark soul. Day off should be fine every once in a while. They thank you and happily scurry off to do who knows what. You have nothing better to do today, so you decide to nap for a little while. Being the Overlord sure is great. Wait to a knock. Tell her she'd better go home. You'd love to have all the conversations in the world with your new friend, but having a human girl here will definitely cause trouble. You put on your mean face and tell her to get lost. But the maiden turns out to be very stubborn. You don't want to hurt her, but you also really want her to leave in case something bad happens. This whole situation is just asking for trouble, you think. Against your better judgment, you let her hang out for a while longer. Before you even know how to react, he makes his move, and the maiden makes hers. She's used her own body to shield you from the hero's blade. Why? Why has this happened? The maiden falls to the floor, lifeless as the pool of blood beneath her grows. So does your rage. The hero's taken something precious from this world. He has control. And Hero is obliterated. Your hatred for the humans has not yet been sated. You go to destroy them all and become ruler of the entire world. Vengeful overlord. Alright. Let's go antisocial and polite. Go flee. Let you in. Ask the maiden what's going on. Maiden explains it. They try to make a conversation with the maiden, but she seems pretty quiet since leaving the overlord's room, and she's shy. She stops in the tracks, and you turn your head to ask what the deal is. Oh, the overlord's castle is engulfed in flame. Can't help but feel relieved you got the maiden out of there when you did, but she suddenly takes off towards the burning castle. Panic sets in, you follow her to try to stop her. Smoke is so thick, you've already lost sight of her. What's she thinking? It's too dangerous to continue. You feel hopeless. Stand alone at the castle gates. Your body won't allow you to take another step forward. Nope, going in there would be suicide. You'll return to the village, or tell him there's nothing you can do, you're too late, me was claimed by the demons. Martyr. Try this again. Play like a coward. Got through. You find a maiden being held captive by the overlord, just as you suspected. For some reason, you can't sense anything sinister happening? You all look at each other in surprise. What's going on? She explains she came here on their own, was never in any danger. She hesitantly asks why you're covered in blood. You don't know how to respond. The overlord moves past you and out the door. See her army in lifeless bloody piles? She's wailing. It's horrible. This is your chance, hero. Stab the overlord while you can. Lunge forward, driving your blade through the evil overlord. She screams, then falls silent. Okay, so that's just that. I'll big on misunderstanding. You hope she'll let this whole thing slide if you could just explain yourself. You really try, but the overlord is inconsolable. She tears you apart and the maiden watches in silence. As you die, you can't help but think you probably deserve this. Tragic hero. Not kidding. What I want. Light, antisocial. I feel like it's acting like this choice isn't, like this list is acting like this choice isn't here. Are you in? Yeah, because you just done all this. And none of that is like working. There should be another choice to option be able to get here. Oh, okay. There was a small mistake. It's obedient, not polite. Try this again. Okay, flee. Alright, yeah, so that's why, like, that choice was there, even though, like, it didn't make sense that it should be there. It shouldn't have been there. On their way back to the Overlord's castle, they spot a maiden heading back towards the village. She couldn't have come from the Overlord's castle, could she? This may be the exact maiden you're currently seeking to rescue. You approach her with curiosity. You ask the maiden what she's doing. Doesn't she know that Overlord's castle is, like, right there? It's dangerous. May explains that she spoke with the overlord, and it turns out the demons never had any diabolical plans to harm the village or anyone in it. Believe her story. I mean, no reason to assume she's lying to you, even though her story is kind of hard to believe. You feel you should trust her. You tell her you're pretty surprised that everyone has been wrong about demons all along. Townspeople must be informed of this immediately. The two of you return to the village. They had all been so worried. They praise you for your bravery. But the maiden quickly sets the record straight. There was nothing she needed to be rescued from in the first place. Villagers look to you for explanation. You politely inform them that it isn't your story to tell. You merely ran into her on the way to the castle. She explains that the overlord isn't interested in capturing maidens or anything of the sort. Villagers turn to you again in disbelief. They aren't being subtle in how little they trust this maiden's story. You totally believe her, but to play safe these fair citizens, you volunteer to speak to demons personally. Just in case. The crowd breaks into hushed whispers. You're too busy thinking what a great and reliable hero you are to hear what they're saying. Town elder's voice breaks you out of your thoughts. He implores you to meet with the overlord immediately and says they'll all keep an eye on the maiden until you return. Sure, that sounds alright, but the mood is kind of intense for some reason. Did you miss something? You aren't sure what's going on, but you get the feeling it might be bad to leave the maiden on her own. She suddenly takes off running. Oh, you thought the two of you were in this together. Her actions have convinced the crowd that she's obviously been a liar and a witch from the start. People are shouting for you to hunt her and her demon friends down already, but that doesn't sound like a very heroic task. You can't help but feel these people are wrong. It's up to you to catch up to her and talk to the demons in order to clear up this misunderstanding. You valiantly dash after the maiden toward the overlord's castle. The air becomes dark and thick as you enter deep into the demon territory. Evil miasma? No. You realize it's just smoke. You see the maiden ahead, but she's stopped in the tracks. The overlord's castle engulfed in flames. You can only take an eye off the maiden for a second, but she's already disappeared. You get close to the castle, but the smoke is so thick now, you think of turning back. Maiden might need your help. You can barely see. She could be impossible to find. She could have been lying to you all along. Was this a trap? Would it be worth risking your life on that chance? Your legs feel heavy. No, going there would be suicide. You will return to the villagers and tell them there was nothing you could do. You were too late. The maiden was slain by the demons. A bystander hero A. So there was that choice. Way back here. She can't be trusted. You aren't sure you should listen to this maiden. You've been taught your whole life that demons are evil. You ask if she's sure about all this, but she gets very upset that you think she would lie to you. She storms off before you can say anything else. Decide to return to the village, certain that she must have been the kidnapped maiden you were sent to rescue. Glad it took care of itself. You take your time walking home. Job well done today, you think to yourself. As you walk past the town square, you notice the whole village is crowded around. Is that the maiden you saw earlier? She's bound to a wooden stake. The crowd is in a frenzy. The smoke begins to rise and you stand idly by as flames consume the maiden. She must have done something horrible to deserve that. She seemed nice though, you think. The evil comes in all forms, you reassure yourself. You decide to call it a day and return to your house, but you can't escape the sinking feeling. Maybe you aren't cut out for this role. Spectator hero. And A. Alright. Let's turn trusting on. Let's go with the maiden. Introduce. Overlord tells you again that you should get lost. How rude. You just got here. And let's obey her. Causing trouble, so you figure it's time to go home. Well, we can get whatever else happens from here. Along the way, you encounter a hero. He asks you what you're doing. Don't you know the Overlord's castle is, like, right there? You explain everything that happened. He's very surprised that demons don't seem to be as malicious as you were raised to believe. The two of you return to the village, hoping to communicate this to everyone. They had all been so worried and are very glad that the hero brought you back. You quickly set the record straight. You weren't rescued because there was nothing to be rescued from in the first place. Villagers seemed confused and looked to the hero for an explanation. He tells him he only ran into you on his way to the castle and that this isn't really his story to tell. You explain to them how you met the overlord and that she's not actually interested in capturing maidens or any other mean things like that. Villagers look again to the hero for confirmation. You feel a little miffed that they'd seem to prefer his word over yours, but you don't say anything about it. Hero proclaims he believes your story, but volunteers to go talk to the demons himself, just to make absolutely sure. Crowd breaks into hushed whispers. You hear words like trickery and demon sympathizer being thrown around, which makes you frown. You're pretty shocked that everyone's this hesitant to believe you. Does the hero even trust you? You aren't sure anymore. An old man implores the hero to go speak with the overlord immediately. He says you should be held prisoner and considered dangerous until the hero returns. Much to your disbelief, the crowd agrees with him. Because, of course, if you were conspiring with the demons, they can't afford to let their guard down. The whole village would be slaughtered by monsters. Hero isn't saying anything. You'll be tied up and tossed into a cell at this rate. If you're going to be held captive by anyone, it's going to be the overlord, not your fellow countrymen. Grab the hero and run. You boldly announce you'll accompany the hero and prove yourself. You'd rather risk what's out there instead of staying in a village that doesn't trust you. No one seems to know how to react. You grab the hero by the wrist and take off before anyone stops you. But as you approach the castle, you know something's gone terribly wrong. It appears to be on fire. Is the overlord alright? You have to be sure everyone is safe. You've already taken off before the hero can even think of stopping you. Good demon, selfless maiden. Alright, so if I go back to that last choice, leave on your own. You can prove yourself without anyone's help. You make a run for the overlord's castle, leaving the hero behind. As you get closer, you start to notice a tower of black smoke darkening the beautiful blue sky. The castle engulfed in flames. What in God's name could have happened? And the flaming demons. Alright, so if I do that and turn off trusting, polite, obey. Just to think you're lying to him, he asks if you've been brainwashed by the demons. What nerve. You're very upset that this so-called hero would treat you this way and leave in a huff. You return to the village alone. Everyone was very worried about you. They surround you with thousands of questions and you tell them your story. Is it explained that the overlord never had any intentions of harm anyone? You notice the looks of uncertainty in the crowd. People are whispering things to each other while you speak to them. You are loudly interrupted by an older man. He rudely calls you a demon sympathizer. The crowd is growing unruly. They don't understand. You've only told them the truth. Do they not believe you? Everyone begins speculating what must have actually happened. They weave elaborate lies and ask you to prove your innocence. How could you have returned without the aid of a hero, they ask. You could not have possibly escaped the overlord on your own without harm. You must be conspiring with the demons, trying to trick everyone into believing they aren't the horrible creatures we know them to be, so they say. Have the people of your old village always been this blinded by their fears and hatred of things they've never cared to know? I wonder how you missed that before. You're seized by the crowd and voices from all sides are calling for public execution, or to be burned at the stake. You don't want to die. You wonder, would it have been better to hide the truth? You don't like the thought of that. You have always lived honestly. So why has this happened? Why are you being punished? You hear the dissenting voices of your family and neighbors, but they, like you, are powerless against the momentum. You only watch as you burn, and you can only cry for them. You are so sorry. Executed maiden. Alright. Let's turn trusting back on. And so now let's turn trusting on. But let's go back to the underling. Let me quit yelling. Be disloyal. We got that again. Check disloyal, don't check coward. Go back to the... Oh, wait. I already have possessive, okay. I think I can skip that part. Trusting for hero. Obedient for maiden. Just need 2 more, right? Anti-social for overlord. Colleen, let him go. Be disloyal. You and our friends trying to notice the maiden from earlier has overheard your entire conversation. It'd be bad for you if the overlord found out about this. Toss her in the dungeon. You and your friends seize the maiden and bring her to the dungeon under the castle. It's empty save for the decorative skulls. They're only there to make it feel more spooky. The maiden is very upset. You leave her in the cell to continue scheming with your friends. Now a hero has arrived at the front gates? He's asking about a maiden, perhaps the very one you just locked up. The gatekeeper, who must have seen everything, tells the hero exactly what happened. What an idiot, you think. Why give the hero an excuse to start slaughtering us? Hero yells, "Prepare to face justice!" and other such cliche hero lines before driving his sword into the gatekeeper's torso. You're small compared to a lot of your friends, so you're able to slip away without getting cut up by that sword. You get to thinking, if this hero took down the overlord for you, everything might actually work out in your favor. You wait for things to die down outside before poking your head out. You spot the overlord and hero locked in battle. They've worn each other down, making this very easy for you. Once an opening presents itself, you hit the back of the hero's head, knocking him out. What are you doing? Couldn't you tell this was a duel? You don't respond. You have to carry out the assassination. You tackle her and rip her to shreds with your claws until she stops moving. You finish off the hero next. You can't let him revive and come after you later. Kind of a cheap victory. Doesn't make any difference. Anyone who managed to survive comes crawling out of their hiding places. You are the new ruler of this castle. Your subjects bow before you. Okay, so it's the Lord one again. Alright. Use the maiden for killing practice. This is just the way it has to be, you declare, before jumping her and clawing her guts out. Turns out you're already an expert at ending lives. Your friends call you a show-off. You go back into the castle to wash off all the icky human blood. As you're finishing up, you hear the sounds of battle outside. The hero has come, seeing the dead maiden must have made him pretty angry. You get to thinking... Okay, so let's just go to the same thing. Alright, so let's turn capture back on. And... diplomatic on the hero. And overlord. Grant them a day off. Let her stay. Let them go. You've almost fallen asleep when the maiden hero bursts into your room, frantically trying to communicate something to you. You're told that a group of demons is planning to assassinate you. You're not surprised. How nice of the humans to care, though. One of your underlings barges in next, telling that the humans are liars. They're followed by another group of demons, crying that everything was the first underling's plan. Everyone is shouting over each other now, and it's very annoying. You yell for them all to shut their traps. You have no doubt that your servants would let their ambition cloud their judgment and lead them to try to take your throne. Regardless of who led this conspiracy, I have no choice but to punish everyone to keep you all in place, crushed beneath my heel. Saying that made you feel very overlord-like. You aren't sure if you have the strength to back it up, though. Lately, all you do is sleep. The group of demons starts muttering something about going back to Plan A, and suddenly slam your door shut. You, the maiden, the hero, and one of your underlings are trapped inside. In an instant, the whole room is in flames. The underling pounds on the door, cursing at their friends for betraying them. The hero pounds on the door as well, vowing to slay the cowardly demons on the other side. This is how you'll die, burned alive in your own room by those you thought you could trust. You should have expected this from a bunch of idiot demons, though. Notice the maiden crying. Why does she have to die over something that has nothing to do with her? Perhaps she was cursed from the moment she spoke to you. You wonder if you're cursed as well. You're so filled with anger and frustration you don't even notice that you've grabbed the underling those traitors blamed everything on. They cried for mercy, saying that they were dragged into this plot knowing they'd be killed if they took your side. They cried that they didn't want to have to kill you. You almost feel sorry for them. Forgive them. You release the underling, killing them wouldn't make you feel any better. Besides, they've already gotten their punishment. You all burn together. Overlord's true end? Oh man. Take retribution. You pierce their chest with your claws. They scream. Hero backs away. He is wise not to interfere. They've stopped moving, but you keep digging and twisting your claws into them. Doesn't make you feel any better. The underling's corpse burns along with you and the two humans. Spiteful Overlord. Alright. So that should be all character traits. I need to check what endings I need so I can skip them on this list here. As well. No need to repeat things, right? Okay, let's do... Okay, let's go through the hero ones. I need that one. Okay. Let's uncheck everything. Possessive. Hero. Flee. Diplomatic. Ask the maiden what's going on. The Overlord objects to this. The maiden tries to tell her that she'll come right back, but the Overlord refuses to hear it. The maiden seems nervous. As a hero, it's your job to mediate situations like these. You tell the Overlord that if she doesn't let the two of you go, you'll have to assume she's evil. You'll be forced to vanquish her. You leave me no choice. The Overlord pauses before suddenly jumping on you. You are helpless as she disembowels you with her claws. How horrible! You came all this way only to be met with this cruel fate. You should have destroyed these evil creatures while you had the chance. Your dying wish is for the maiden to somehow make it out of this alive. So that is Naive Hero. Let's reset. Select Obedient, Antisocial, and then Disloyal and Capture. Hero. Skip forward, flee, believe. When you reach the gates, you ask the demons if they've seen the maiden. They have. They inform you she's being held in the dungeon at the moment. She trusts them, and in return they'll lock her up? So the demons are truly evil beings after all. You demand they take you to her, but they do not let you pass. You should have expected as much from these unreasonable creatures. You know what you must do. You thrust your blade through the demon before you and rush the castle alone. You're the only one who can save the maiden. Now. What the heck are you soldiers doing in my... What the heck are you doing killing all my soldiers? The Overlord is angry. You vow to exterminate her and all the demon kind. You clash again and again, but the Overlord isn't going down easily. You're both dangerously low on health when everything goes black. Your quest has come to an abrupt end. Unlucky hero. Okay. I need to find this one in the list. My two lists are different orders. Okay. Let's turn off everything except for Martyr and Hero. Skip forward. Dutiful. Cut through. Ask the maiden what's going on. She's... Alright. Wait. While you still can. You lunge forward to put an end to the evil Overlord, but your blade pierces the maiden instead. She's sacrificed herself to protect this demon. Takes you a moment to recover from the shock. The overlord wails. Why did you do that? You're not sure if the question is directed at you. The overlord strikes you in a vengeful rage. You parry, and she is slain. Your sword feels heavy. You look at your hands, your clothes. Blood. So much blood. Looks at the fallen maiden, wondering what to tell the townspeople. Why would she protect the overlord? She must have been brainwashed by the demonic magic. Pick up the overlord's head, wrap it in your cape. Begin your long journey back to town. You'll say that you were too late. There was nothing to be done for the girl, but the overlord is slain. There will be celebration. Loyal heroes. So there was one other choice here. Oh, big misunderstanding. Okay. That's just that. Brings us to their true ending. Let's get that off. Disloyal and merciful. Hero. Flee. Diplomatic. Ask what's going on. Is she gonna kill it as a retribution? It continues to cry and make excuses, but the overlord does nothing. To your surprise, she lets it go. Are demons capable of mercy? Guess it doesn't matter now. You'll all burn together. Heroes, true end. Apparently, before you're taken back to reset the story once again, you pause for a moment. True end? You say to yourself, what was that? What was the point of all my effort if the true ending is this terrible? Must have forgotten where you were. This is bad end theater. Is the pain setting in? Oh, but you should have been well aware of what you've been shown when you entered this place. It's a problem I've seen quite often. At some point, you grew attached to my little cast. You started to relate to their flaws, their plight. You started wishing for their happiness. But you aren't going to find that here in my theater, my lovingly crafted little labyrinth of suffering. Anyway, I hope you'll pardon the interruption. You're making great progress. Choice to continue on to the next ending is always yours. I'll leave you to it, dear guest. The leather flutters down from beyond the curtain. You found lost leather number 1. Okay. Well, let's... Oh, if you finish everyone, like their entire list, you get that? Let's go down this other path real quick. Obedient, resolute, disloyal, antisocial, and merciful. And flee, believe. To stand there, not sure what to do, the maiden announced that she will prove her story to the village. She drags you along with her. She has much better odds with you around, so you don't object. Adventure awaits. When you make it to the castle, you spy a group of suspicious demons hanging around near the entrance, and you can't help but overhear their conversation. They're talking about assassinating their overlord, and this proves to you that demons really are foul creatures. We have to tell her about this! I don't understand what the maiden is thinking. The world is better off with less demons. They're all cold, ruthless creatures that should be destroyed. And those same creatures have just noticed you eavesdropping. The maiden takes off into the castle, and no matter the perspective, the true ending remains the same. That's what makes it true. You couldn't resist seeing it for yourself, though, could you? I wonder what will happen when you collect them all. Will you give in to despair, or... Okay, so that should have been true ending B. So... let's go into Maiden. I can get to Maiden here. And I need 4 Maiden endings, it looks like. Should be right. Yeah, 4. Okay, Maiden. I need that one. Oh, I can just do this one. It's earlier in this list. So trusting on hero, antisocial, disloyal. This vicious group of demons stands just outside the entrance. They're talking about assassinating the overlord. They immediately notice you've overheard them. The underling you recognize from before is the first to do something about it. This is just the way it has to be. They suddenly attack you. In that moment, you regret having ever trusted the demons. You die instantly. Okay, so that's that one. Let's go trusting, antisocial, disloyal, and captor. Alright, same thing. Obey. Leave on your own. Immediately notice you overheard them. Inside they'll lock you in the dungeon before you can cause any trouble. You cry out, but the demons ignore your protests. You can't believe you escaped possibly being thrown in a cell back in your village, only to be tossed in this awful place. This is terrible. Who's gonna keep those demons from harming the overlord? You hope she can fend for herself. You sure can. You hear the sounds of battle echoing through the halls outside. Did the hero follow you? He's out there. Your cries don't reach him. After a while, the violence seems to die down. It's impossible to tell what's happened. You continue to wait. No one comes for you. Unable to escape, you rot in that cell. Imprisoned. That one. Not that one. That one. That one. Let's go diplomatic and possessive. That's all I need. So maiden. Shout for her to come save you. Overlord objects to the hero's suggestion. You tell her you plan on returning soon, but she isn't having it. You feel nervous. The hero puts on a brave face for you. If you won't let her go, maybe you demons are evil after all. If you are, I'll be forced to vanquish you. You leave me no choice. The overlord suddenly jumps the hero. She tears into him with her claws. You want to cry out, but the scream catches in your throat. You watch because you can't look away. Had she really been lying to you all along, you wonder? Is this your punishment for questioning the divine plan? The overlord approaches you now. You back yourself into a corner. Her expression is complicated. Being captured by the overlord in a horrible way like this is your destiny after all. She vows to keep you very safe from now on. You're afraid to find out what that means, but there's no one left to save you. You belong to the overlord now. Captured maiden. Alright, scroll back up. Okay, we need trusting, antisocial, merciful, disloyal. Maiden. Either or, obey, grab, and run. The overlord spares the underling. Feel relieved, but does it make any difference? Will you all burn together? Maiden's true end. Leather flows down from beyond the curtain. You found lost leather number 2. Keep collecting bad endings for now. It's interesting. Is it gonna do that if I go... Scrap, diplomatic, disloyal, merciful. Pick any. Keep collecting bad endings. Okay, so that's just gonna be how that is. Okay, underling, I only need 2. You must really be enjoying my tragedies. Okay, underling. That one, okay. Diplomatic, polite, which is optional, and possessive. Okay, hear her out. Let's kill the overlord. You sneak up to the overlord's room, but there's a couple of humans in there. You watch the scene unfold. You aren't sure why, but the overlord suddenly cuts down the hero. She approaches the maiden you brought to her earlier. With the overlord distracted, you figure this is as good a chance as any. You launch a sneak attack, hitting her right in the back. She flinches, giving you enough advantage to take her down. You rip the overlord apart until she stops moving. This was faster than you would have liked. The maiden mutters something from the corner. Thank you for saving me. It wasn't your intention, but it sounds like you did something heroic. You tell the maiden to go home. This place is dangerous. She follows your advice and leaves the castle. Your castle. You are the new overlord. Heroic. Okay, reset. And that just leaves his true ending. Alright. We need trusting, obedient, resolute, antisocial, merciful. Hear her out. Let's kill the overlord. You're surprised the overlord spares you. Or maybe she'd rather see you suffer instead. Looking around, you've just gone from one dead end to another. Maiden is crying, the hero's silent. You'll all burn together. Underling's true end. A letter flares down from beyond the curtain. You found lost letter number 3. Reset the stage. Okay, so that's that. Let's get down to overlord. So the only one I need here is dutiful. Your choices don't matter. Grant a day off. Let her stay. Notice the sounds of battle have started ringing through your castle halls. Nana's getting nervous, but you reassure her it's only your underlings roughhousing. No big deal. You know it's probably a hero, but you don't want to upset the maiden by telling her that. Your army will take care of him. It isn't long before the hero bursts into your room. But he shouldn't have made it here. Why didn't they stop him? Hero just stands there unsure of himself. He's covered in demon blood. As the maiden speaks to him, trying to explain the situation, you move past the hero and out the door. You're not thinking clearly. Seeing your servants' bodies in pieces all strewn about your castle is really taking it out of you. The hero did this? There's so much blood. Why? Did he come for the maiden? Did he think she needed rescuing? There was no one for this hero to save here. There was never any harm meant to anyone. You were just talking to her. Why has it turned out like this? The hero starts babbling insincere apologies and excuses, realizing his wrongdoing. You are far beyond hearing that kind of bullshit. You have had it with these humans always murdering your servants for no reason. You can no longer hold yourself back and lash out at the hero. When you regain control, there is nothing left of the hero. The maiden has fled in terror. You are alone. Raffle. Okay, reset. And I need this one. Dutiful, heroic, or diplomatic heroic. Either or is gonna work. And day off. Let her stay. Feel some sharp pain through your back. You look down to see a blade protruding from your chest. Ah, that was careless of you. So this is how you die, stabbed in the back by some cowardly hero. What a joke. It's supposed to be the ruthless one. That's right. Humans can't be trusted. Not if this is what they're capable of. You should have remembered that before letting one in. You watch as the hero takes the maiden's hand, leading her through the sea of corpses he'd left in his wake. Captured by a demon, at least she got what she came here for. You join your army in eternal slumber. Slain. And I need one more. Okay. Trusting. Hungry, disloyal. Get back to work. Wait. That didn't work? Hold up. Okay. Trusting and disloyal. Not hungry. Tyrant, possessive. Tyrant. Let her stay. Possessive. Something sharp pierces your back. The hero? No, he's already. Some of your underlings. The maiden screams. Your servant tackles you, tearing you apart with her claws. You struggle to retaliate. They've done too much damage. You can barely move now. Your blood is everywhere. I can't believe this has happened to you. Why has this happened to you? You've been slain by your own underling. Betrayed. Leather flows down from beyond the curtain. Film lost leather number 4. So... there's... save. Turn the character select yes. So there was that option under maiden. Find maiden true ending. It's trusting, antisocial, merciful, disloyal. So let's go maiden again. Okay. Grab and run. It can't end like this. You want to answer the maiden's prayers. You've decided to find a way to save everyone. But retracing the past you've seen so far, there doesn't seem to be any room to avoid a bad ending. Is there really nothing you can do to keep them all from getting killed in the end? There's nothing you can do by acting from within their story. Maybe it's time to take things into your own hands. Wow! You are unknown? You boldly insert yourself into the story and use your incredible power to warp everyone to safety. You didn't know you could do that, but what's going on here? And take a moment to get a good look at yourself? You are you. But why are you pitch black? You feel that this body doesn't accurately represent you, but you move past it. The hero, maiden, underling, and overlord have been staring at you too. They look like they don't really know what they're supposed to do right now. You guess that's because you're usually the one guiding them? What will you say to them? I don't have anything for this. Hi guys! You smile awkwardly, introduce yourself. The maiden is the first to respond. My prayers have been answered. You must be her god? No, you're merely the player. If there was any god here, that'd be the final boss. That's just how these role-playing games go. Now you realize what the real true ending must be. Now, enough of this. I admit I've been encouraging you all along, but the self-insert story? How passe. You watch helplessly as tragedy descends from the heavens. You didn't honestly believe you were the only one who could force your way into the stage, did you? I am the narrator, storyteller, god of this world. Call me Tragedy, if you'd like. Darkness enveloped your party. You don't mind if I send each of them back to relive one of their many bad endings, right? You're alone in this darkness with me, Tragedy. I sincerely hope you've been enjoying your time in my theater. Though I can't abide you stealing the show without permission. It's quite disrespectful. I'm sick of all these bad endings. Then frankly, you should never have come to a place called a Bad End Theater. Have we already been over this? You think defeating me must be the only way to see a better ending? That's all that's left for you, isn't it? Well, this doesn't sound like it could be this does sound like it could be entertaining. Show me what you've got. Time to fight God. The stage is set for your final battle against me, the god of this world. What will you do? How will you fight against tragedy itself? I'd love to see it. Can I save it here? You lost soul who wandered into my theater. Attack! Betray your best to tear me down, but you can't seem to do any damage. You don't truly exist in this world, after all. Oh, was that all? You'll never defeat me like that. Let me try that again. Attack! You try your best to tear me down, but you don't seem to do any damage. You don't truly exist. Perhaps you don't understand just how outclassed you are here. Why? Behold my beautifully tragic tales. Doesn't seeing them all again to make your heart ache. You witnessed all 41 of my painstakingly crafted endings. You must be as much of a masochist as me. I commend your thoroughness. Surely these characters have been a special place in your heart. They're still suffering backstage. You know, it's a shame they couldn't make it here. It's the end of the world. That's right. You came here to save them. You can't do this alone. Summon. Find a hero in this home, hunched over a sewing table. Your sudden intrusion scares the hell out of the poor guy. Are you some kind of demon? Explain it. No, you're not a demon. You're... How can you explain it in a way the hero can understand? Said you asked what he's sewing. Oh, this? I craft all my own hero gear. He senses pride in his hobby. You wonder if the costumes are what attracted him to the role of hero. Would you like some clothes? You don't seem to be wearing any. Remember the state of your body and decided yes, some clothes on the hero would be nice. He's overjoyed by your answer. Apparently his outfits are too gaudy for the other townsfolk, so no one else wants them. The true end for the hero suddenly becomes clear. You offer to change his fate. I could make a living as a tailor rather than the hero. Please, tell me what I can do to reach that dream. Hero will now fight alongside you. I agree to follow you, but I didn't expect to face something like this. The hero has arrived. We really couldn't have a final boss battle without him. You're the one who's been killing us, murderer. I can't truly call myself a hero until I see you defeated. We'll see about that. Tragedy attacks with a terrible fate. Summon. You happen to find the maiden as she exits the church, her heart set on meeting a demon. Perfect timing! She approaches you, having already taken notice of your odd form. Excuse me, are you a traveler? I've never seen anyone like you before. You explain that no, you're not a traveler. Well, maybe you are in a sense. You've come all this way. The maiden regards you with excited curiosity. Perhaps you might be a demon? I was hoping I would meet one today. You think of all the terrible fates that hope would bring about. She's the catalyst of the story, after all. My role is a maiden to be captured by the overlord, but you see, I've grown tired of waiting. Remember this part. She wanted to understand her role better, and so you ask what it is she's really hoping to gain from this. The maiden's confused by your question. Perhaps it was as simple as wanting to reach the place she felt like she belonged. The true end for this maiden suddenly becomes clear. You offer to change her fate. If there's something I can do to find fulfillment, then please guide me. Maiden will now fight alongside you. What is this horrible creature? You wound me, dear maiden. Is tragedy really such a terrible thing to behold? I remember now. I remember all the awful things you put us through. Then this should be familiar to you as well. Tragedy attacks with a terrible fate. Alright. Summon. You approach the gates of the Overlord's castle. The underling is on guard duty, as you expected. They call out to you. The other demon guard is sound asleep. Hey, you're a pretty weird-looking intruder. What do you want? I explain, no, you're not an intruder, although you're definitely intruding into their story right now. You tell the underling you've come to save them from tragedy. Okay, saving me from boredom. Try saving me from boredom first. I hate this job. The underling snickers. You ask what kind of job they'd rather have. Be best if I didn't have to work at all. I just want to live a carefree life and never get bossed around or picked on. You think of the underling's friends, who had bullied them into an assassination plot, only to betray them in the end. If they kept better company, maybe they wouldn't feel so restless? The true end for the underling suddenly becomes clear. You offer to change their fate. So there's a way that even work can be fun? Sounds fake, but I'll tag along with you just in case. The underling will now fight alongside you. Wait, what the heck? You didn't say anything about a boss battle? The underling, Him seem desperate to call him such an unreliable ally. If I beat this guy up, all my problems will be over? Oh, but it won't be that easy. Tragedy attacks with a terrible fate. Oh, I seem to be... Okay. Summon. You enter the Overlord's room, relieved to see the fire contains the torches on the wall. When you close the door behind you, the Overlord rises from her slumber. Who are you? Have you come to reside in my castle and serve me? Explain that no, you're not here to serve her. It's more like you've come to do her a favor. You ask why she spends all day sleeping instead of commanding her demon army. She laughs in response. Many of my underlings certainly think I should be more aggressive with the humans, like my father before me. His quest for revenge was endless and self-perpetuating. There's a reason I had to destroy him. You can't help but think a little late in the game to be getting some new backstory. I have no interest in waging war on the humans. I merely wish to be left alone, to live a peaceful and indulgent life in my castle. You realize she must actually be very lonely, only surrounded by soldiers instead of friends. No wonder she gets so attached to the maiden. The true end for the Overlord suddenly becomes clear. You offer to change her fate. My own attempts at peace have been rather imperfect. If you offer a solution, then very well. I will follow you. Overlord will now fight alongside you. I see. So this is tragedy. Ah, you brought the Overlord. I don't stand a chance. Now! You've prevented me from attaining peace for long enough. Prepare to die. Hope you're prepared to face your deaths as well. Tragedy attacks with a terrible fate. Now that the whole party's here, can you solve my final puzzle? Which combination of behaviors will open the path to your true ending? Show me. Alright, we're going to drop a save here just so that I don't have to redo all that. And we're going to go with justice. The hero tries using his belief in justice to fight tragedy. That justice applies to you too, does it not? Will you pay for your own misdeeds? Let's choose kindness. Man tries to appeal to tragedy with kindness. So naive. I'll balance your kindness with my cruelty. Mischief. The underling tries to evade tragedy through mischievous means. You're so much fun. Would you like a reminder of where that mischief will lead you? And ambition. I'll reach my true ending with my own power. Actually, that's not what I want. I want brutality. Overlord tries to fight tragedy with sheer brutality. Oh, has violence really been working out for you so far? I'll show you my own brutality. And we're just gonna keep... I guess I'll keep doing justice. For your misdeeds. Just spam justice here. Your HP has run out. You are overcome by tragedy. If you wish to challenge me again and collect more bad endings, you better reach this path again through the maiden's true end. I'll be waiting. Or, what we do is load. So yeah, that was my bad ending. But now, instead, we're gonna go willpower. Your reign of terror ends here, tragedy. I refuse to give in. Hero uses his willpower to overcome tragedy. Tragedy is reeling. And we're gonna go with hope. Our true endings do exist. They simply must. The maiden hopes with all her heart to overcome tragedy. Tragedy is reeling. And tenacity. Knock me down, I'll just come back stronger. Underling uses tenacity to overcome tragedy. And finally, ambition. I'll reach my true ending with my own power. The overlord uses her ambitious nature to overcome tragedy. This is it. With everyone's hearts united, you take aim towards your best possible futures. You unleash one final attack to destroy tragedy, once and for all. You've done it. You've managed to defeat me. Tragic ending for a tragedy itself. I love it. I must thank you all for fulfilling your roles perfectly. Thank you, hero. Thank you, maiden. Thank you, underling. Thank you, overlord. Enough of this nonsense. We defeated you, so die already. Don't worry. I'll be making my exit shortly. Finally, thank you most of all. We couldn't have made it here without you. Yes, my bad in theater did contain a truly good ending after all. Apologize for antagonizing you for so long. Wanted to deliver my satisfying story. Was able to do it? I wonder. Oh, I can't save here. I'm satisfied? Thank you, I really appreciate that. Happy endings shouldn't always come easily. Reality is not so kind. But you've earned this one. Here's your true ending. Your true end. Something's missing. Oh, you're still here. The curtain is closed for the final time, shutting down my theater. There are no more tragedies left for me to tell, after all. There is one more. Me? You'd like to know why I started this theater? Because I'm obsessed with bad endings, of course. Remove the mask. You gently raise your fingers to the cracks of my mask. Piece by piece, it falls apart into your hands, revealing... I should have warned you, this might affect what you think of my stories. Can't help but compare my face to the maiden's. I'm not her, but it's not like she isn't me, necessarily. That's how it is with fiction. If you'd like to hear not another ending, but the truth, tell me. Alright, one last story. You may already know this, but it doesn't have a happy ending. First, I'll set the stage. In this world, there are no such things as demons or even heroes, really. There was a girl eager to set out to fulfill some sort of destiny. That part was true. She met someone, another girl. A running theme, isn't it? The maiden and the overlord. Two were inseparable, and for a time, everything was just wonderful. But their families, the communities they came from, neither could approve of their relationship. That is the reality for many. This pair was no different. Despite their best efforts, the world was intent on pulling them apart. We used to like the types of stories where love conquers all. For the strength of your love, we will pull you through any hardship and everything is okay in the end. I lost her. And then I started this theater. For this story. Huh? I was hoping to find you. It's you! It's been so long. I thought I'd never see you again. You always think of the worst endings. I wasn't about to give up just because things got difficult. Why didn't you reveal yourself sooner? I feel like such a fool. I could say the same to you. You knew I could never resist giving your stories a happy ending. So of course I would be drawn to a place like this. Yes, but I didn't think it would actually work. Sometimes everything does turn out okay in the end. Thank you for reminding me of that. I love you. I love you too. Now, truly, everyone can live happily ever after. Tragedies end. There's nothing more to see, my love, but if you'd like to reset, if you really want to experience everything all over again, I'm happy to oblige. Should I begin the resetting process? Let's reset. There are two options. Keep some of your progress and reset to before you started the true ending. Or you can erase all of your progress and replay the game as if it's your very first time. You'll have to collect everything all over again. You can't take this back, so choose carefully. Total reset. Your progress has been completely reset. Does this count as a bad ending? Well, just in case. Total reset end. So I take that as, like, all my saves are gone and everything. All my saves are gone and everything. Neat. Well, I guess that wraps up Bad End Theater. Thank you to Serenity Forge for the code for this. Yeah, it's out now on consoles, so check it out, and Steam. Enjoyed the video, or videos, however you end up doing this. Consider tossing a like, comment, subscribe, maybe click the bell for notifications. Also be sure to check out the description below. Various links, social media, Discord, come hang out, get notifications there as well. And until next time, this is rinimt signing out. Bye!